Exceptional Service Recognition Award to Josh Rogers, Friendswood Police Department, and the presentation of certificates of appreciation to others. Roger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As most people look at a city council agenda, they likely view it as a to-do list of resolutions, ordinances, other formalities. But this and every council meeting agenda represents a lot more than that. And I think you all know that, having lived it for years. It's also a way that we document how volunteers such as you, each one of you being a volunteer, your friends, your neighbors, and city staff are continually coming together to make Friendswood better for everyone. I'm personally blessed to work with an outstanding group of people and work for an outstanding group of people. Today we have roughly an equivalent of 220 employees. And it's hard to single out one or two, as we're doing tonight, but it's certainly important that we take the time to do it. I'd like to ask Captain Josh Rogers and Chief Bob Wieners to join me here at the podium, and while they're making their way forward, tonight we want to recognize Josh's efforts in leading an investigation, coordinating assets, directing resources that have ultimately resulted in moving closer to the resolution of 3 long-standing cases. In just a minute, Chief Wieners is going to make a few remarks, but before he does, I want the council and the citizens of Friendswood to know that Josh is well deserving of tonight's recognition. He's performed duties that, frankly, no person should have to. But he's completed them with a spirit of perseverance, of public service, and professionalism, to the lasting benefit of some specific families and our society as a whole. Bob and Josh, Friendswood continues to be recognized as one of the safest cities in America. We're grateful to the two of you, to all the men and women in our police department who serve our citizens so well. Now, Josh, let me read the wording on the plaque that we're presenting to you tonight. It says, the City of Friendswood honors Josh Rogers with the city's Exceptional Service Award in appreciation for your actions taken between February 1 and April 7, 2016. Josh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mayor and Council, when I visited you last month, I told you that I had just come from the excavation site in Brazoria County, and that we were making progress, and that I hoped we would have a favorable report to give at some point here in the future. And so I can say that the recovery phase of the remains at the Houston site and the Brazoria County site is complete. This evening is really an opportunity to make a solemn acknowledgement to the hard work by the folks that are pretty much seated right here with you right now. These folks stepped up. It was very obvious as we progressed through our operation that the job was a big job. And there's 2 aerial photographs right here. And the photographs depict both of the sites. The one on the right, which is kind of difficult to see. Mark, can I get you to hold that up? Is the Brazoria County site. And then, of course, we've got the Houston site over here on the left. Today is we really honor the work that was done by volunteers, not the police department, but volunteers, and by municipal and county employees that were operating beyond the scope of their job description. That's good, Mark. We don't want anybody to believe that this is a victory lap, because it's not a victory lap. There's two families that have resolution, to the location of their loved ones, who quite frankly weren't doing anything wrong. These girls were doing nothing wrong. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they were preyed upon, and we all know what that outcome was. So today, in this evening, we've got people here that stepped up, because when this operation started off on the 15th of February, it started off in the dark, and it started off with flashlights and shovels, and progressed the next day into probably a low-scale operation where we used small excavators and a backhoe, provided one by the city of Friendswood and the other provided by Brazoria County. We weren't successful from the 15th of February through the 22nd of February out on the Brazoria County site. And so the decision was made to move to the Orem site, which is in Houston, southern part of Houston. And then it took us probably the better part of a month to get done what needed to be done out on Orem. But while out on Orem, there were lessons learned. Lessons learned were, well, we weren't going to be able to get it done because the police showed themselves to be inadequate very early on in this endeavor. And so Texas EquiSearch came out for a little bit, and it was obvious very early on that this magnitude of work was going to require something more than even Texas EquiSearch could bring to the table. As a matter of fact, the director of the lab up at the University of North Texas, Dr. Gil King, has characterized this excavation effort as being, I think the word in the Galveston Daily News was stunning, but I would say he was acknowledging that it was huge and it's unprecedented as far as the amount of dirt that was dug up and the efforts put forth out there. So as we progressed from small excavators to large excavators, businessmen stepped up and started delivering their equipment. There were great neighbors up there on that parcel in South Houston, and they came over and they offered their help. You're going to have a chance to meet some of them tonight. When one small excavator and a couple of bulldozers didn't do the work, well, then there were more large excavators that made their way out there. And big, or I should say, business owners stepped up. Some of them even stepped into it and came out there personally to operate their equipment. The fact is that we could not have got this done without having the help of these business owners and community members. Now, everybody watches CSI, and everybody believes that, you can get the ground penetrating radar, and you can get these dogs out there, and somehow, some way that you're going to be able to, divine right where a set of remains may be. Well, I guess I'd have to ask some folks that are sitting here that dug that site. Anybody here got any faith in ground penetrating radar and search dogs? No, probably not. So at the end of the day, it was endurance and it was perseverance. Somebody described it as a miracle. I had to go to the dictionary and describe what a miracle, and have it Webster's definition and read it again. And what occurred out there wasn't a miracle. That was hard work, long work, directed by Captain Rogers and, taken care of by these folks that are out here with us this evening. I think, when it's all said and done, I reflect back on 1997. for those of us that were on the ground in 1997. Kenny Conchaba was there, a couple of thousand volunteers. Well, this time around, it was a couple of dozen volunteers. The number of volunteers doesn't go ahead and define the fine effort of these folks to step up. We had a different job to do, and we only required the couple of dozen volunteers that we used. But the thing that was the same about 1997 as it was here in 2016 was a community spirit and a willingness of not only folks in our community, but certainly business members throughout the greater Houston area, because some of them are here. Mark Boyer with Boyer Construction. We had surveyors, plumbers. I mean, we just had a whole host of people, and you're going to have a chance to meet them here real quickly. So with that in mind, I'll turn it over to Josh.
I appreciate the the words that Chief and Mr. Rucker has stated up here. So I won't say those same things. Some of those words and phrases that Chief mentioned maybe came from me. Maybe they're from him. I'm not for sure. But I won't repeat everything that he said. But we can look around the room and see how many individuals are here. And I think it was important that we acknowledge the work, as he states. We want to represent the the little people, I guess you could say, in this, that really got the work done. And as we accept the the good and the bad, sometimes we understand we've got to accept both of that. So tonight is about accepting the good that was accomplished, and we're going to show the small folks that we appreciate their help. We get paid to do what we do. And, I guess that is kind of expected of us to do that. So the volunteers and the folks that step up, they don't make any oath, they don't make any promises to help out and do what they did out there. So we really appreciate the opportunity that council has given us to come up here and acknowledge them. I think it's important just to look around the room and see how many individuals are here. So I'll go ahead and get started. What I like to do is ask Chad Wagner from Lamarck Police Department, Lieutenant, and Lieutenant Sean Spruill, and Chief Kirk Jackson from Lamarck. All three of these guys are from Lamarck. They're going to stand up while I give out these awards. Chief mentioned a landowner that was close. Did Jerry Garza make it in?
He's here.
Oh, there he is, Jerry. Jerry, if you would, go ahead and come on up. We'll give you this award. Mr. Rucker's going to tell you where to stand afterwards. But Mr. Garza provided us not only with some equipment out there, but also some support, given the location of where the Orem site was delivered, what we did out there on the Orem site. So he provided a large excavator for the entire time that we were digging out there. So no one wants to put a price tag on what was there, but Mr. Garza came over without even being asked to give us that track code that we used the entire time that we were out there. So Jerry, I appreciate it. Two individuals from Lamarck Public Works, outstanding individuals, both of them. Proud to say that we met them, both outstanding men, Mr. Joe Moses and Roy Robinson. If y'all would, please come up. We acknowledge the work that Public Works does. It's a profession as well, and these two guys represent professionalism to its finest. And we appreciate you, Joe and Roy. These next two guys are from an S&V surveying crew. They came out and helped with the surveying and laying the overlay out with the help of some other gentlemen that I'll talk about here in a minute as well. But these surveyors overlaid the property. We talked about how the property changed over 20 years. What's part of the problem with trying to, mark X marks the spot after 20 years, a lot of that changed. These two guys were able to overlay the old images from 97 onto what we currently see today to give us a better frame of reference since so much had changed. So with that, David Brister and Isidore Garza. David Brister and Isidore Garza with S&V Surveying. If y'all would come up, please. They've come out countless times to assist us out there. This next group, I don't believe, is here. Jason and Scott Sheridan. They own another surveying crew, FM&S Surveying. They came out to help us do some surveying as well. I don't believe they are here, though. Chief talked about everyone from different areas and mentioned plumbing. And is Mr. Benitez here? I'm not sure if he was able to make it. He's going to help put some water lines back together out on Orem and has donated his time, so we appreciate that.
Yep, we might have taken out some water lines up there.
Sun State Equipment. This is Mr. Chris Hunt. If he would come up, please. We appreciate everything he did. He provided some steamrollers and some equipment that we were able to put the property back together with the leveling for a few days out there. So we appreciate it, Chris. This next gentleman, Mr. Mike Joseph from Oil States, was the construction, the new area across the street from where we were digging. Mr. Mike, go ahead and come on up here. A lot smarter than we are as far as looking at plans and different topographical maps, so we don't know what arrows and arrows and little dashes mean. But Mike was able to point that out to us and show us exactly what we were looking at. He's an environmental guy with the Oil States company there, Mike, and we really appreciate your eagerness to help us out, and it's much appreciated. I think he even provided us lunch one day out there, so thank you, Mike. Did James and Deanna show up from Lamarck Citizens Academy, Chad, do you know? Okay, we don't think they showed up, but husband and wife that support Lamarck Police Department very well. They cleaned up the coach out there for Scott several times. Bubba provided some work even on a bulldozer, and they brought food out there, breakfast for us a lot of the mornings, and we couldn't have made it without those two as well. So we'll send that along to those. Next one is Mark Boyer. You come on up, Mark. Provided one of the small track hose for us out there, and you know, we couldn't have done it without Boyer Construction. They came out there when we needed it, delivered it, picked it up, moved it from place to place, and we sincerely appreciate that for your construction company. Thank you, sir. The next two here are Chris Benson and Cetro Howard. If y'all would go ahead and step on up, and I'll keep talking about you. Another couple of friends that I think we've made through all of this was Chris Benson and Cetro Howard. You know, you guys stepped up. We can't say enough about the operator. Cetro was on the track hoe. First one there to arrive, and actually during lunch was the first one back on there after we ate. And, you know, we need to give a lot of credit to those guys, given that, you know, what they had to deal with us out there. You know, we think we know a lot sometimes, but we probably knew nothing about, you know, moving dirt. So Chris was able to get us on track and let us know that we didn't know anything about that, and we needed to follow what he was doing, and we could get it accomplished a lot quicker. Cetro was on that track hoe, and if you can imagine us, you know, you saw on the news the many people that were standing around those buckets while they were trying to operate and do their job. We didn't make it any easier, you know, on Cetro. As we were there watching every scoop for the whole day, these guys were having to watch not only the bucket but also, you know, sometimes 20 to 30 cops running around getting in their way. Nobody was knocked out. There was a few near misses with that. But Cetro, you know, we really appreciate that, okay? And like I said, we made some good friends with both you guys, so thank y'all so much. Grady and Grant Owens, please. These guys were contacted early on for historical data. Unfortunately, we weren't able just to go back to Google Earth and look back at the dates that we were needing. So these guys, Grady owns the company and his son Grant is here, and they are all the way in Spring. So they had to fight the traffic whenever we asked for something. Most of the time we didn't ask, they just came up and provided that information that we needed. But aerial photography, they even flew the sites for us afterwards to get a better perspective and to help with the overlay. We acknowledge the survey crews up front. That came from Grady and Grant Owens with their company that they own up there in Spring. So countless numbers of trips down to both the Orem site and Brazoria County site, and they flew those locations real time besides providing the historical data for us out there. So I can't say enough for Grady and Grant Owens. Thank y'all both. Scott Gordon with Lighthouse. We also have Jeff Smith back there. I would never leave him out. Jeff, wave at everybody. They all know you anyway. But Lighthouse, I guess you could say sometimes maybe we kind of take them for granted. They're just expected to be there when we need something, and that's the case. They are always there when someone needs them, including us. So this is our time to acknowledge y'all, Scott, that y'all always step up to help out and provide food for us for all those days. That's not cheap. It's a lot of hard work. A lot of that stuff was prepared for hours on end. And those same individuals, a couple times there at the end, we said, look, we'll go pick it up and bring it out there. Y'all just prepare it for us. And the ones that showed up all the way from Galveston with Lighthouse to come out there kind of took offense to that and said, we'll be out here serving you all until this is over with. So, again, the small things make a big difference. So we appreciate Scott Gordon and all of the Lighthouse.
One aspect of this that probably needs to be underscored with Scott is the fact that he also got us the plane tickets for the forensic dogs that were flown in from California. Even though they didn't work, Scott, you know, gave them a free trip out to the location. And of course, Josh had to go ahead and take those ladies to dinner and shopping every night. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for making that happen too.
I don't need any receipts for that one.
We have Intense here, Mr. Chris Womack. Did Norman show up? Norman didn't show. Chris, the owner of Intense, is here. The big, huge white tent that provided us cover and concealment for a lot of what we were doing out there, and also porta potties to help, to help us not offend, to not keep offending the media and the neighbors out there. So we appreciate that. Intense local business again that always steps up just like Lighthouse to help out where they can, and we couldn't have done it without you, Chris. We appreciate it. These two guys are almost in the category of Mr. Moses and Robinson from Lamarck Public Works. And I think the one that's here is Lupe, right? Lupe is here from Friendswood Public Works. Lupe, if you'd come up. Lupe Aguilera from Friendswood Public Works provided a lot of the dozer and track hoe operation that was out there, falls along the same lines that I spoke of with Cetro, and was out there every day that we were working those track hoes and bulldozer. And again, it's about everyone and the professionalism that we all show out there to include these guys as well. Thank you, Lupe. Steve Bowen's not here from Friendswood. He couldn't make it from Public Works, but we acknowledge his efforts and everyone from the city of Friendswood Public Works that helped us out there. Next one that's pretty important, Mr. Mark Sandoval, if you would head up here, please, sir. Mark is another one that I hope that I can call a friend through the end of this, Mark. You know, you stepped up and helped us out there every day that, you know, we were there. Here's another one like Cetro, first one on, last one off. Even took some time out of his own, even took some personal time. He comes from Brazoria County Road and Bridge. We met him when we first arrived out there early on. And Mark stepped up to come out there and help us on the Orem site on his own time. Wants no credit, wants no nothing from any of this other than, you know, he feels good about what he did. And, you know, you're a true man, Mark. We appreciate you, sir.
Now, this is an individual who's special. He's special because he even took a week's worth of vacation. Yeah. To go ahead and work out there. So the question is, did they give it back to you? You let me know what the dollar amount is on that, and I'll have that covered before you leave here tonight.
Thank you, Mark. Trey Hill from Hill Sand, please. Another community, great in the community that always steps up and helps most of the time without ever even being asked. And, you know, we talk about the small things as moving trash and providing a dumpster, but it all comes together and none of it works without everyone out there. So another true champion in our community. We appreciate Mr. Hill and all that they do out there, sir. Thank you. Kenny Kachapa. Those dogs that Chief keeps referring to, and some of the ground penetrating radar and all that couldn't be possible without some monetary donations that were given out. And Mr. Kachapa was one of those that really helped us with that. And you know, it was things that we needed to get done that we were able to get done with those resources that you all provided us. So we appreciate that, sir. Adam Hill. Same name there, Hill Sand, but provided some monetary donations to us that were able to get some stuff done out there. And again, the Hill company and the Hill family, we appreciate all that y'all do in the community, are always ones that we can count on to step up when we need something. Thank you, sir. That's it. I hope I haven't missed anyone through this. Mr. Rohde, Galveston County District Attorney, is in here today, who has supported this effort. Chief talked about the different levels that we're going through here, the excavation, the recovery phase. Mr. Rohde and his office were involved with all that from day one, and was able to provide us what we needed to get done what we needed. So he's in attendance. I didn't call him up here, but he's here. And he's a true player in all of this as well. So thank you, Mr. Rohde. And I'm looking around. I think that's, I hope I didn't miss anybody else. What I'd like to say is there's a lot of family here that are, that supported these individuals. Again, we're expected to step up and do our job no matter how many hours and how hard the work is. Again, these are volunteers. Our families understand that. Our families accept that. We appreciate our families for doing that. And we also appreciate the families of the volunteers that step up, that didn't sign on the dotted line to do what they've done. So thank you, family members, for supporting these individuals up here and your loved ones to help us accomplish what we were able to accomplish. Okay, so we appreciate that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I've got the first 250 for Mark's, the Mark's GoFundMe account. I got the first 250. As we go ahead and we close out and folks are getting situated, I think it is important to note that Captain Rogers, Josh Rogers' family is here. So his wife Debbie is here in the second row. I'm sorry, Debbie, for what we did to him for 2 months. Jacob, Madison, thank you for being here. Josh's mom and dad are just back, kind of wave off. So Josh's mom and dad made it here. That's awesome. And then finally, I've got our partners from Lamarck PD. We asked them to come up and be here tonight because they stayed with us the whole time. So they were there in Brazoria County. That wasn't their case. They didn't need to be there. And they were out there in the early days of this. They went ahead and they stayed with us in the Orem dig. And as fate would have it, it was a Lamarck police officer who was there to help recover the remains of Jessica Kane. I think it's also important to go ahead and note that when we were done on Orem, they didn't leave us. They came right back with us out onto the Brazoria County site and stayed there until we were done. So with law enforcement partners, and certainly we had the FBI, the Texas Rangers, and we can talk about that, at a different time about what their roles were. But these guys stood with us, and they should be recognized for that.
Thank you very much, Chief. On behalf of the city of Friendswood and the council, our town is known for volunteers. I don't know how we couldn't operate without the volunteers in this community. And it's just heart-lifting to me. People talk about the state of our country. Our country is in great hands with men like this. And that is what makes America great. When there's a problem, everybody digs in, literally, to help one another. So again, thank all of you people, especially you guys that don't live here. Y'all did an amazing job, and many thought it was an impossible job. But we got a police chief here that don't let go, and we appreciate him. Thank you very much.